Hey guys, this is Steven here with another video on how to play some logic puzzles. This one's on Hashi, also known as bridges. The objective is to connect all the numbers together with lines. Also can be seen as islands and bridges. And you can't isolate any numbers by themselves. So you have to enable passage from all the islands to one another. The numbers indicate how many bridges are going to be drawn from that island. And there can never be more than 2 bridges in any one direction from an island. Bridges are also only vertical and horizontal, so you can't have any diagonal lines going through the grid. And bridges, lastly, cannot intersect with any other bridges. So that's it for the rules. What I'm going to go ahead and do is try to solve a puzzle or two for you and share some common tips and tricks that will hopefully make it easier for you to solve some of these on your own in the future. So the first place that I start is typically going to be the corners. So if we look for 4s or 3s in the corner, we know we can already start drawing some bridges. The reason for that is if we look at this 4, it only sees 2 islands. And so because you can only draw 2 lines at most to any other island, you know that it has to be 2 lines in both directions to make the 4. The 3, because it's 1 less, you can only do 1 line in each direction. And to figure out where the 3rd line goes, you're going to have to use some other clues or deduction to figure that out. Now luckily, this 1 is here, and we know that that 1 is already solved. No more lines can come into this 1 or out of this 1, and so for this 3rd line has to go up. So we've solved the 1, 3, and 4. And the next thing, well, here's another 4 in the corner, so we know we can solve those. And that solved that 4. Now this 2, for instance, can't come to the 1 because there's already 2 lines going out from it, so we've solved that number as well. The next thing I would consider are 6s along edges or 5s. And for the very same reason as the 4s, we know we can solve those right away. So this 6 only sees 1, 2, 3 islands. And since you can only draw 2 lines each, you know that 2 times 3 is 6. There you go, we've solved the 6. Now when you have a 5, let's imagine none of these lines were here. A 5, just like the 3, is going to be 1 line in each direction. And you're going to have to figure out where the 2 extra ones go by using other logic and deduction. So that we know, in this case, the 5 is already done, since 2 is going to the 4, and 2 is going to the 6. The 1 out here, that's 5. So that's it for the 5s and 6s. And unfortunately, there's no 8s or 7s, but if we had an 8 in the grid, you would know it'd be 2 in each direction. Because at most you can see 4 islands, so that'd be 2 up, 2 down, 2 left, 2 right to make 8. And if you had a 7, it's just like the logic with the 3s and 5s. You're going to draw 1 line in each direction, and you're going to figure out where the extra bridges go by using other clues and deduction later in the puzzle. Now the next thing I would say is don't just give up on this strategy when you've solved the ones immediately next to the border. Like, don't think of the corners as just the ones next to this edge on the grid, because you can also kind of see corners as any island that only sees 2 other islands. So like this 2, for instance, here only sees this one and this one. So even though it's physically not in a corner, it behaves like a corner. And the same thing with the edges. So this 5, for instance, even though it's not against the edge, it only sees 1, 2, 3 islands, and so it kind of is going to behave as if it were against an edge. So we can draw 1 line in each direction for that 5. Hopefully that makes sense, and if not, we're going to do another puzzle since these go pretty quickly. The next thing is when you look at 1s, you can't isolate a 1, and so if a 1 sees 1 other island, of course that's going to be solved. So if we look at this one, for instance, it only sees the 2. There's no other island it can go to, so it's going to have to connect there. This one does see the 4 and this 4 and this 2. Now obviously it can't go to the 2, we've already solved that. But we don't have enough information quite yet to figure that out, but we don't want to strand it or leave it stranded. We're going to have to connect it somehow. And then lastly, just make sure all the islands are connected and you don't isolate any regions. So if we look at this 2, for instance, it only sees this 5 now. It can't connect anywhere else, so it has to go there. Now it has 2 lines, so that's been solved. This 5 only sees 1, 2, 3 islands, so we know automatically we can draw the 3 lines. This 3 can't go anymore towards this direction, so the third line is going to have to come down there. This 5 can't go to this 2 anymore. It's got to come down, so there's 2, 4, 5 lines there. We've solved that. This 6 can't come down to the 1, so its 6th line has to come here. That's 2, 4, 6. That's been solved. This 5, now this is going to be the toughest part, I think, of this puzzle, is you can't leave, right? If I solve it this way, coming down, I've solved the 2 and I've solved the 5, but now how are we going to get this 4 to connect? We've basically cut this board in half, right? This 1 can connect there, but you can't connect these now. Or vice versa, if the 1 comes down here, this 4 can't connect here. And so we know that the 5 can't go to the 2, because that 2 holds a very important job, and that 2 has to connect to this 4. So this 5 can come up, that solves the 4, 5, 2 solved, and now the 4 has its 4th line coming up to solve the 1. And that's it for that one. So that's a Hashi puzzle. I'm going to solve one more because I think they're pretty quick, and it'd be nice to probably see just one more example. I'll go through it quickly. This one only sees 1 island, can't see any others, so we know that connects there. 3 in the corner, we know we draw 1 line in each direction. The 1 is solved, so now the 3rd line has to go this way. We have a 5 against an edge, so it only sees 3 islands. We know 1 goes in each direction. Oh, here's an 8. So perfect. An 8 has 2 lines going in every direction. So that solved the 2, solves the 8, solves the 5. Now this 3 has to have 2 lines coming down because it only sees 2 islands. So it's kind of in a corner, and it can't go this way anymore. So it has to come down. This 3 here, let's think about this. So this 2, even though it sees this 1, it can't connect there because you'd intersect the other bridges. And so it really only sees this island. So it has to come down. Same thing with this 3. Even though this 3 sees this 2, it can't intersect those bridges. And plus that 2's already been solved. So it can only come down. That solves that 3 because we got 1, 2, 3 bridges. Now this 3 can't come down or go up anymore. It has to come over. Let's see, what else do we have? This 1 here only sees 1 other island. Can't come to the left here. That's already been solved. Can't go up, can't go down. So that connects there. Same thing with this 1. This can't come down or go across, so it's got to go to the left. This 3 has to be solved by coming down. This 6 is kind of against what I would call an edge, right? If it sees 1, 2, 3 islands only, we know there's got to be 2 lines in every direction. This 4, even though it's physically not in the farmost corner spot, only sees 1, 2 islands, so it's got to have 2 lines going in each direction. This 6 now, let's think about this. So this 2, this is the interesting one. This 2, if we go to the right or go up, go down, it can't go anywhere other than left. So it's got to go to the left. That solves that 2. So we have 3 lines coming out of the 6. We need 3 more. So we can't draw 3 lines in one direction. So one's going to have to go up and down. We have to connect this 2. And I think we can do it by going in either direction. So that doesn't solve it. This 4 can connect in either direction. What am I missing here? So the 2 can't go twice like that. That would overload this 4. So we know at least 1 line is going up. At least 1 line is going up. And this 4 has 3. Let's see. So this 6, I think this 6 is going to be it. So 2, 3, 4. It needs 2 more lines. Can't go to the right, can't go to the left. Can't do 2 lines this way. So at least 1 line has to gonna go that way. That solves that 4. 2, 3, 4. So the 4 is solved. This 6 needs 1 more line, right? 2, 3, 4, 5. Can't go to right, left, or up, so it's got to come down. That solves the 4, and now the 2 comes up for its second one. And this 6 now has 2, 4, 5, 6. Yep, there we go. So that is that. I like it. I mean, it's easy. I think it's definitely one of the easier logic puzzles out there, but it's quick. Not very challenging. I mean, I've done the bigger ones and the harder ones. These were pretty easy, but even the big ones, I would say it's fun to do a few, but probably not something you're going to get addicted to. But yeah, overall, I enjoyed it. If you did too, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more in the future. Thanks. Have a good night.